So this means we're going to see more and more roles that maybe you don't even think about as data roles, like marketing manager or product manager, need data skills like Power BI and Excel. You're also going to see more and more analysts, data analysts and business analysts, embedded into functional teams. And in both of these use cases, a tool like Power BI is very, very critical because that's really how analysts and domain experts can collaborate and analyze data effectively. Hello, welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about how to become a modern business analyst using Power BI. And I'm going to be presenting from the Dataquest side, and Nancy will be presenting from the Microsoft side. And I'll do a quick intro in a short while. But first, let's talk about the agenda. So we're going to start with an introduction. Then we're going to talk about how data usage across organizations has been evolving in the past few years. And we're going to talk about how that necessitates the need for modern BI tools like Power BI. And we're going to talk about how Dataquest and Microsoft can help you become a modern business analyst using Power BI. And then we're going to end with some Q&A, where you'll have a chance to ask Nancy and I questions about how to use Power BI in your organization, how to gain Power BI skills, and how to apply those skills to get certified with the Microsoft certification. So as I mentioned, this webinar is going to help you stay relevant and competitive. Business analysis skills are very hot right now, and it is a great ticket to a new career and a high salary. And we're going to tell you how to do that. So I'm the founder and CEO of Dataquest. I'm a self-taught data scientist, and I've been working on Dataquest for several years with the aim to help people learn data skills by actually doing them. So actually using the skills and applying them immediately. And Nancy, do you want to do a quick introduction?
Yes, Nancy Tandy. I'm with Microsoft. I'm the go-to-market lead for business applications. So I think about awareness enablement across all of our customers and our partners. So really happy to be here today.
All right. So that said, thanks for that intro, Nancy. Let's go ahead and dive in. So we're going to start with just a look at how data usage has been changing in the past few years and why that necessitates business analysis and Power BI usage. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to look at an evolution of the data landscape and how data analysis can really help companies and individuals improve their careers and improve their outcomes. So let's start with data usage. So companies are increasingly using data, and this trend has really been increasing the past few years. And data helps us answer key questions like, should we introduce a new product? Who's using our website? What product will a customer be most likely to buy? So you can probably see there's a lot of applications ranging from tech companies like Amazon and Facebook, all the way through to companies you may not expect, like 3M or Exxon, companies that are actually using data to transform how they operate. One great example, I was talking to a data analyst from 7-Eleven recently, and they're using data to actually optimize how they lay things out in their stores. So when you walk into a 7-Eleven store, what you see in the aisles is actually the result of a lot of data analysis. And as you might expect, Google Trends shows that data analyst interest and searches have been increasing a lot in the past 2 years. And that's because companies are really making more money by using data analysis. And I'm going to talk about those trends. So one interesting thing that's come about as companies have been using data more and more is how the data roles within companies have shifted. So a few years ago, data teams were siloed within organizations. And what I mean by that is you would be a data analyst or a data scientist or a business analyst. You would sit on a central team within your organization. And every other team, marketing, product, manufacturing, logistics, they would send you requests. And you would try your best to create a report without a ton of knowledge about what was actually happening on that team. And you would send them the report back. And then they would presumably do something with that report, use the data to make a change. But you wouldn't really know about this. And that created a silo where you had all of the skills on the central data team, but you didn't necessarily have all the context about what the customer wanted and how to best serve the customer. So teams would really be passing reporting requests over the wall to these central data teams. Now, what's happened in the past few years is companies have realized to effectively use data, they need to be able to do a few things. They first need to analyze the data and find the trends and conclusions, but then they need to be able to share those conclusions with their team and get buy-in. So for example, if you're a marketing team and you're trying to improve your website traffic, you can't just analyze the trends, right? You also need to be able to contextualize those trends, share them with your team, get input, get buy-in about the next steps. And to do that, you need domain expertise. So what companies have found is you can't just expect a data scientist to create a report, or a data analyst or business analyst to create a report about marketing and use that report to actually drive action. So for example, if you're trying to improve your website traffic, you actually need people on the marketing team who really understand what's bringing people to your website and why, to collaborate with the data people who understand how to pull the data and generate reports, which means you need domain expertise along with data skills. It's not enough to just have one or the other. And what this means is we're increasingly seeing data skills be embedded into the teams that need them. So for example, we're now seeing two trends. So one, people in functional roles using data. So I've talked to a lot of marketers, a lot of product managers who now use a lot of data analysis day to day, using tools more powerful than Excel, tools like Power BI, potentially sometimes tools like R or Python as well. And the reason they're doing that is you need that domain expertise to actually leverage the data to get a meaningful result. The second thing I'm seeing is embedded data teams. So instead of saying we're going to have this data team in our organization and they're going to service all the other teams with data requests, you're instead saying we're going to hire a data analyst onto our marketing team or a business analyst onto our marketing team. And what that means is all of a sudden you get to combine domain expertise from the marketing team with the data knowledge of your data experts. And that in turn creates more value for the organization. So to go back to my earlier 7-Eleven example, you need people on the ground who actually understand how to stock shelves, how to lay shelves out, how customers walk through a store. And you need to combine them with data experts who look at which products are selling the best, what is actually the hottest trend of this season. And you need to combine their expertise to lay the store out efficiently. So embedding data skills into the teams that need data analysis to improve the customer experience gets you to meaningful action. And I want you to really remember that principle because it's really important and will serve you really well as you start your data career or continue it. Okay, and this brings me to Power BI. So Power BI helps teams do exactly what I just said for a few reasons. So with Power BI, it's very easy for teams to share results across the whole team. So if you're a business analyst and you're doing an analysis, it's very easy with Power BI to create a report and publish it and share it with your team, which suddenly means that your whole team can engage in the process of looking at the data together, filtering the data together, because Power BI gives you filtering and other options, and in some cases, even analyzing the data together, because Power BI makes it easy for non-data experts to modify analysis or play around with data. So this means that domain experts, people who are experts at marketing or product, can do their own analysis, and that business analysts can support them in telling meaningful stories with data. So instead of the centralized data team in an organization producing reports, which the marketing or product team may or may not use, you're suddenly collaborating and you're building that report together and you're iterating it together and you're figuring out what to do next together, which is why a tool like Power BI can really unlock the power of data in organizations, which is why you're seeing usage grow so much. And looking ahead, that trend is only going to continue. Companies have found that using data makes them more revenue, drives business value, improves the customer experience. And that means that data is actually going to be used more and more. But the way it's going to be used is embedded into these teams that can actually use the data to drive some meaningful action. So this means we're going to see more and more roles that maybe you don't even think about as data roles, like marketing manager or product manager, need data skills like Power BI and Excel. You're also going to see more and more analysts, data analysts and business analysts embedded into functional teams. And in both of these use cases, a tool like Power BI is very, very critical because that's really how analysts and domain experts can collaborate and analyze data effectively. All right, so that is a look at how data usage in organizations is changing and why a skill like Power BI is so critical in today's landscape. So now I'm going to turn it over to Nancy, and she's going to talk a little bit more about the modern business analyst and how you can learn the skills you need to succeed within your organization or start a new career in business analysis or data analysis.
Thanks, Vic. So uncertain market conditions and customer preferences have made data and analytics more essential than ever. To address these challenges, many organizations strive for that data-driven culture. But even though data culture has been part of our tech vocabulary for many years, a lot of people still struggle with it and don't realize its promises. And in our view, the promise of a data culture is simple: to provide everyone in the organization with tools to generate meaningful insights for better decisions. So, really, it's about bringing that analytics to everyday business and enabling every employee to make decisions based on facts, not opinions, which is exactly what Vic just told you. Many challenges remain, and the drive to create that data culture, organizations have created a fragmented landscape of data management and analysis tools, culture, and processes. There's also the challenge of keeping this flow of data secure and up to date while managing the high cost often associated with managing and scaling enterprise capabilities. At Microsoft, we believe the easier way to realize these benefits and of a true data culture, and we call it Power BI, as Vic had mentioned. And really, to help bring that technology with business, we believe the data analyst is the key to making that happen. So if you're a data analyst or a developer who uses Power BI to work with data, we can help you earn that recognition that you deserve and help your organization stand out by earning your Power BI data analyst certification. So today I'm going to walk you through and talk a little bit about what a data analyst does, what skills are needed, and explore the benefits of achieving that data analyst certification by passing exam PL 300. And that's what we call it at Microsoft. Companies need a skilled data analyst to help that business maximize that value of their data assets using Power BI. These are the skill sets that you need to become a data analyst. And I've got them laid out here on the slide. So, such as you like to analyze data and discover insights that help drive the success of your team, a fundamental understanding of the data repository and data processes. The data visualization is very key. You need to be that subject matter expert who enables organizations to maximize the value of their data assets. And you like designing and building scalable data models. All of these are key skills that the data analyst needs to have. So subject matter experts with Power BI skills are at the cutting edge of the revolution in data and digital technology that has made new sources of information accessible, consumable, and meaningful to organizations of all sizes. Microsoft certification validates your Power BI data analysis skills so you can stand out in a world where there's growing demand for this expertise. In today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, certifications can demonstrate that you're technically agile. In addition to highlighting your specific technical skills, certifications indicate that you're willing to put forth that effort to learn that new technology. These technical exams are hard, and we understand there's a lot of work and effort that goes into these preparation for these. And so, that's why our employers really value folks that have these technical certifications. Employers are building tech-intensive organizations where people not only have the skills they're looking for, but they also have the willingness to embrace a culture of learning. Microsoft certification validates your Power BI data analysis skills so you can stand out in a world where there's growing demand for this expertise. And I've listed on here, 5 of the top reasons why you should get a data analyst certification. Again, 1, you earn credibility in a cloud era. You can showcase that you have the skills that employers are looking for. It's a solid foundation in which to grow your career. So you start out and you earn 1 certification and you can continue down that path and earn additional certifications, which makes you highly valuable for these employers. There's a higher earnings potential. Companies desire employees that have certifications. And again, if you're starting out or you want to change career paths, a certification can help you do that. So if you're doing something else right now, but you're really interested in data, starting out with a certification can help you switch that career path. Use certifications to shine a light on the data analysis skills that you've worked so hard to hone, whether you're just starting out again or looking to advance your career or wanting to fill a new in-demand job within your own company. So let's talk a little bit about how we get started. You start by identifying your learning goals. We have multiple starting points, whether you're beginning as a technical professional, you could be a student, or you're maybe just a business user, like let's say you're a marketing folk or someone that's a financial person. Getting that Power Platform fundamentals will help you start down that path, especially if you don't have any experience with the Power BI or Power Platform. So start out with that Power Platform fundamentals, and it will help you prove that business value. And it gives you a great overview of all the Power Platform products, as well as set you on that path to Power BI. If you already have knowledge of Power BI, then we suggest that you try one of the role-based technical exams. So the Microsoft Certified Power BI Data Analyst Associate role is the place for you to start if you've already got that Power BI skill. From there, you can head on to some of our expert certifications, and we also have specialty certifications that showcase that deeper technical skill. So people who become data analysts love Power BI, and they love to unlock that data insights and provide their organizations with easy to comprehend data visualizations. As we've talked about, there could be more than one path for you in this role. However, if you're not quite ready for certification, there are several things that you can do. And as I talked about before, I'm going to just quickly talk about the slide before I go into the other suggestions. We have the fundamentals, we have the role-based, and then we have the specialty certifications. Within the role-based, we have two levels. We have associate level and then an expert level. So there's a path for you to start out from fundamentals, or you can go right into that role-based. Some additional suggestions if you're fairly new to Power BI or you want to hone that skill before you decide to take that certification, there's some additional suggestions for you. So first, you could work on a Power BI data analyst and visualization project. So get your feet wet. Microsoft Learn has a lot of hands-on labs and modules and learning paths that you can start out with and just, walk through, do the hands-on lab and get started. You can also shadow a data analyst who works with Power BI. And then, as Vik's going to talk about in a minute, you can take the learning paths, not only on Microsoft Learn, but Dataquest. Dataquest has some hands-on training and a great skilling path for you. So sign up with a learning partner like Dataquest, and they will walk you through. And the benefits of working with a Dataquest is that if you want to ask questions and you want to be able to have that interaction with folks, that's a really great for you to do that. So we always talk about our learning partners as they have such great opportunities to be able to work with and ask questions of your trainers. And then again, we have additional resources like Microsoft Docs, our Power BI learning catalog. And then we do have a Power BI community. It's a great place to go in and meet other people, ask questions, watch webinars, and really get that in-depth experience that you need. So Vik is going to walk us through the skill path and the benefits that learners will get from their new training here at Dataquest.
Thanks so much, Nancy. It's a great intro. Okay, so at Dataquest, we've worked with Microsoft to develop an analyzing data with Power BI skill path. So this path teaches you everything you need to get the PL 300 certification that Nancy talked about, that certification that employers really value and look for. This path takes you from zero all the way through to becoming ready for that certification in one place. So you don't have to jump to multiple resources. You don't have to kind of figure out what to do next. This path takes you through the correct order of skills to learn. So we start with just an overview of Microsoft Data Analytics. That's the first course. Then you learn how to model data in Power BI. So creating relations and cross joins and seeing how those filters work. Then visualizing data in Power BI. So really creating powerful reports and visualizations that you can share with others. Then doing data analysis in Power BI. So things like using Power Query, the M language, DAX to really model, reshape, transform data. And then we talk about some of the enterprise use cases of Power BI. So how you can manage workspaces, publish your reports, and really manage Power BI usage across your organization. So this hits on everything you'll need for that PL 300 certification. And more broadly, we also have a business analyst career path, which combines multiple skills, including Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Python to really prepare you for a job. So Power BI is one skill that is very powerful and useful and can really upgrade your career. But if you have this suite of skills, you can go from zero to getting your entry-level data job. So we've kind of put Power BI together with several other really important skills in one path to get you ready for a job as a business analyst. So who's this program for? This program is for job seekers, so people who are looking for their first data job. Learning Power BI and then going on to learn Excel and SQL is enough to really get you your first business analyst or data analyst job and really upgrade your career and your salary. It's also for existing data professionals. So as Nancy and I have discussed, adding Power BI to your skill set is an amazing way to future-proof your career and really make you more valuable to companies and other professionals. So whether you're a marketer, a product manager, someone else in an organization that's adjacent to data, learning these skills will help you deliver more value to your customers and to your company. So why Dataquest? You might be wondering, hey, there's a lot of options, a lot of places you can learn Power BI and these other skills. Why Dataquest? So Nancy mentioned one of the things we do, which is we connect you to a community that can really help you learn. I mentioned another, which is we give you a path. So you don't have to go looking for what to learn next. It's all in one place and you can learn without kind of worrying about if you're learning the right thing. Another is the interactive element. So as you learn on Dataquest, you'll actually use the full desktop version of Power BI in the browser. So without having to install things and download data sets and figure out what to do, you can actually learn a concept and immediately do an exercise. So you actually get hands-on experience as you learn. So that is really going to help you with the certification exam and when you start your first job. And here's another look at how we do that. So you'll be able to actually view reports and learn simultaneously, which is very powerful. And our learning method has really helped a lot of people advance their careers. So of people who finished a path, so one of our career paths like data analyst or business analyst on Dataquest, learners typically see a 30K salary boost because of the way we teach with hands-on exercises and projects. At the end of every course, you'll get to build a project that you can then put in your portfolio and show to employers. So to summarize, the Dataquest learning path lets you learn by doing. It lets you get experience using Power BI and analyzing data in the browser. It helps you prepare for the Microsoft certification, and it lets you build a project portfolio. So we've gone through a lot, and hopefully Nancy and I have managed to answer many of the questions you had coming in.
Yeah, and I see one. Are the courses in Microsoft Learn enough to get Power BI certifications? So I would say it depends. We actually recommend that you have some type of experience in our technical certifications and doing what Vik just talked about, taking the course and having that hands-on experience is going to get you there. So I think it's a combination of things. Unless you already have been a data analyst and you have some real world experience, then Microsoft Learn might be enough for you. But we really do recommend that you get into a learning partner like Dataquest, get that hands-on experience, and really get deep into the product before you go take that certification.
That's a great answer, Nancy. Is it compulsory for a business analyst who's starting a career to learn Power BI? I would say in today's environment, yes. BI tools are incredibly common among business analyst roles, and Power BI is the most popular BI tool. So I would highly recommend learning Power BI if you want to start a career in business analysis.
Certification, the actual certification costs about $150 US, but we have a lot of opportunities to get free certification vouchers. So we have opportunities coming up at Build where we do what's called our Cloud Skills Challenges. So we do those at our tier 1 events. So Ignite and Build, both of those. If you join in, we'll usually have a learning path that you can do. And once you complete that learning path, it's about 20 hours of work. You'll get a certification voucher. So look for those opportunities. Those are out there all the time. And then if you sign up, depending on what Dataquest does, they might have vouchers as well.
Yeah, if you sign up for the Dataquest Learning Path for Power BI and you complete it, we give you a voucher for a Microsoft certification. The Learning Path you pay by month. So it's anywhere from $20 to $40, $50 a month. And it depends on you how fast you want to go through the material and you feel confident to go get certified. What skills complement the use of Power BI? That's a great question. So I touched on some of them. I think Excel is an amazing complementary skill. In fact, you can import and work with data from Excel in Power BI, and it's very, very easy to move back and forth. Another skill that I would really recommend learning is SQL. So you can import data from databases into Power BI, and a lot of Power BI concepts like joins and relations are very similar in SQL. So understanding SQL will help you. You don't need to learn it right away, but learning Python or R will also help you later on, both in terms of Power BI, because those integrate into Power BI, and in terms of doing more advanced analysis down the road. Is Microsoft Power BI now Mac friendly? So Power BI only installs in Windows, but what you can do is either create a cloud environment to use Power BI or use the Dataquest training path. So as I mentioned, we embed the full desktop version of Power BI into the browser. So you don't actually need to install anything, and you can still use and get hands-on experience with Power BI, even if you're on a Mac. I find it difficult to get into the BA role. Could it only be because of lack of certification? For someone who wants to get into the BA role, but also have previous years of experience considered, what would you advise?
I think the certification would definitely help you. And then also talking about your credentials. So once you get your certification, post it on LinkedIn and celebrate the fact that you've gotten certified, and you will get noticed. I see all the time folks posting on LinkedIn that they've received, they've gotten their Power BI data analyst certification or other Power Platform certifications. And then, within a month or two, I see them also posting now, which is a great, there's a celebration for, hey, I got a new role. So I would check out LinkedIn for that. But yeah, it definitely will help you.
All right. Thanks for all these questions, folks. Next question is, what are the pros and cons of using Power BI compared to Tableau? I think you probably have a great answer for this, Nancy.
Yeah. I mean, I think Power BI is, as Vik had mentioned before, it's one of the most popular softwares out there. I think most enterprise companies use it. Most companies use it. And so if you have those skills ahead of Tableau, then you're going to be better off if you're looking for that job or you're looking to switch careers. I'm not going to go into the technical part of all of the pros and cons of everything, because that would take forever. But I think, if you're really looking to switch careers, you're really looking to become a data analyst, I think Power BI is the way to go.
From my usage of Power BI, I found it easier to share results across your organization. And Power BI is more widely used in more companies. So it's just a more broadly applicable skill. Do these courses remodel the applications? How do we learn to use the skill without the applications? I think you mean, do these courses use the full Power BI desktop application? And the answer is yes. So this is actually, you'll be using Power BI in the browser with the Dataquest courses, and you'll be learning by applying your skills using Power BI. So for example, you see in the screenshot, there's a couple of questions. How many pages from this report contain tiles? Which page includes the tile with a certain name? And what you'll have to do is you'll have to use the Power BI interface to actually answer those questions. So in the Dataquest path, you'll get dozens of hours of experience actually working with the Power BI interface to answer the same types of questions you would need to answer in a real business analyst role. Will I need machine learning to be successful as a business analyst? I would say no. In general, as a business analyst, you will be generating reports and analyzing trends to help improve business outcomes. Now, machine learning can be a nice add-on to your skill set, and you can actually use lots of machine learning applications within the Power BI interface using some Azure machine learning services, but it's by no means necessary. Most business analysts I know do not use much, if any, machine learning. And one thing I do want to say is we are collaborating with Microsoft. So Dataquest and Microsoft, sometime this month or early next month, we'll be launching a scholarship for our Power BI skill path to help people who either can't afford it or are from underrepresented backgrounds in data. So if you sign up for Dataquest, we'll send you those emails and you'll be able to get a notification when we do open that up, if cost is a barrier for you.
That's fabulous, Vic. I think that's huge for folks out there that might be struggling with the cost of things. So we're so happy that DataQuest is doing that. And I think that's very impressive.
What are the main differences between a data analyst and a business analyst? How different are the Dataquest learning paths for these two qualifications? So this is an interesting one because data analyst and business analyst can change depending on the industry and the size of company, what each role really means. So the way I think about it, I'll go ahead and explain, and Nancy can explain the way she thinks about it. And they might be different because you'll find that there is a lot of variance in the industry about these titles. My view is a business analyst is someone who answers business questions using relatively clean data sets. So what I mean by that is you might get a data set that says, this is how much all of our customers ordered of each product each month. And your job is to create reporting around that relatively clean data set. And to do that, you use tools like Excel, SQL, and Power BI. My view of a data analyst is someone who has more of Python and R skills and are able to do a little bit more reshaping and data cleaning. Not to say business analysts can't do data cleaning, because you can do a lot of data cleaning with the tools I mentioned, but data analysts are able to do it in a more advanced way using libraries in Python and R. They're also able to do a little bit of machine learning, like linear and logistic regression and other techniques that maybe you don't have to know as a business analyst. So the Dataquest learning paths for these two qualifications. With the business analyst path, we focus more around Excel, SQL, and Power BI, the skills that will really help you succeed as a business analyst. For data analyst, we focus more on R, Python, statistics, data visualization in those languages, data cleaning, things that help you work with messier and more complex data sets. But Nancy may have a different view of this.
No, I think you're spot on. I would just say that for the Power BI data analyst role, there's not that information that, like Vic talked about, that the business analyst information would be in that role. So if you're prepping for that certification, then you want to stick with the learning paths around the data analyst. Now, Microsoft Learn, we do have content. So we do have modules and learning paths that are geared more towards that business analyst. So if you're more interested in that, there is, training and content out there that you can take.
All right, that was great. On average, how long will it take to complete the data analyst Power BI path with Dataquest? So our Power BI path, we generally say it should take you about 50 to 100 hours. So that includes all of our hands-on experience, completing our projects, interacting in our community, et cetera. And it's up to you how you want to split those hours out. So it would take you about 3 months if you're studying 10 hours a week. But if you want to study more or less, that changes the timeline.
I was just going to ask you if you have the blended, what we call the blended learning path or experience, what that sounds like, which is fabulous. I think for folks out there that are working a full-time job, 40 hours a week, and they want to train and they want to do something, but they can't commit to a full, 2 weeks off or whatever it takes, to have that flexibility is really important. So I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, and we find most of our students learn around 5 hours a week. So it's something you can fit into your schedule, and we've really designed it for that. Okay, what type of questions are on the Microsoft Power BI exam, as in technical features of the app or situation-based?
I can't really tell you the type of questions. What I would suggest is going and taking one of the practice exams. And then that will give you a really good feel for what's going to be on the test. And you can also download our what we call our objective domain, but it's all the skills, and it's on our exam page for PL 300. So you can go there, you can download the objective domain. It will talk about all the skills, and then it breaks out the percentage of what's on the exam. So it'll tell you 25% is on data visualization. And I don't have that in front of me, so I can't exactly tell you what it is. But if you go there, you can look at the breakout of all the different skills that are going to be tested on. So hopefully that answers your question.
All right. What tool among Tableau, IBM Cognos, and Power BI is most important? So most important will depend on the company you're at and which tool they use. But of these, Power BI is the most widely used, then Tableau, then IBM Cognos. I don't know if you have a different take on that, Nancy.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
Okay. I have 2 years of experience building Power BI reports, and recently I'm building experience with Python. What additional skills do you think I need to apply for a business analyst role in a consulting firm? So what I would say is SQL is really, really, really critical in that type of role. So what I would think about is learning that, and you can learn it in the context of Python. So you can call SQL from Python, execute SQL queries, and manipulate that data within Python. You can also do the same thing with Power BI. You won't necessarily be writing SQL queries, but you can understand a lot of the concepts and work with SQL databases. So I think that's a really important skill. Another one that I would recommend is getting end-to-end experience building projects. That's one thing we actually do at Dataquest. Each of our courses ends with an end-to-end kind of, here's how it would work in a real business type application of the skills you learned. So pulling all the skills together and having, I usually recommend 4 to 8 really strong portfolio projects you can share with employers on your resume can really help you. So I think in terms of the core skills, Power BI and Python are great. You're on the right track. I would just add SQL and think about how you pull everything together. Are the courses offered by Dataquest free? So you can try any of our courses for free. With the Power BI skill path, we offer several lessons for free at the beginning of the path. So you can decide if it's a good fit for you or not. And at some point you will have to pay to continue, but you can try it for free. Yeah. Where do we sign up? So it's just dataquest.io. That is a good question. What makes Power BI stand out amongst other data visualization tools? So to me, it's really the integration with the ecosystem. So many of the data tools you are going to use day to day in a business analyst role are made by Microsoft. Excel, Power BI, SQL Server, Azure, and Power BI plays really well with that ecosystem. It also makes it really easy to publish your reports and share them across your company. Nancy, I don't know if you want to add anything there.
No, you said it great. I was going to just say, it's an end-to-end product. What we say at Microsoft is we have, everything that you need. So I like the fact that you said it plays well with the other tools. I think you're absolutely right. It's, the integration and the fact that we have everything, together is, yeah, that's right.
All right. What soft skills do you think are important for a career in a BA role? So I touched on this a little bit early on, but being able to present and communicate results is really, really important, and being able to collaborate. So you're going to get a lot of feedback on your reports. You're not always going to agree with that feedback, but you're going to need to be able to collaborate with people on your team and other teams to be able to iterate your reports and improve them. You're also going to need to be able to really clearly communicate your conclusions. So if you found a trend, you need to be able to explain really clearly what that trend is and why you think it's important. What are the benefits of using Power BI versus other platforms like Databricks or Jupyter? So Power BI is more of a point and click tool. Databricks and Jupyter are more coding tools. So, you're going to be coding in Python or R or some other language. So the benefit is you can share your results more widely with the rest of your team, right? They can use a GUI interface, they can filter the data, et cetera. Jupyter is a really, really nice tool for people who are technical. I use it all the time to code and quickly explore data. It's not as easy to share with non-technical folks, but it is a really nice complement, right? I don't think these tools are necessarily exclusive, right? There are plenty of people that use Power BI and Databricks and Jupyter in their organization. So I don't see those as competitive. They just have different use cases. How do potential employers validate or test whether you have the skills when there is no certification? So the answer is a portfolio. So if anyone who's hiring for a data role or really any technical role is going to ask you for your portfolio, or if you don't have one, they're going to ask you in the interview process at some point to do a hands-on technical assessment where you actually analyze a data set or do some analysis in a few hours. So the answer here is have a portfolio. And if you follow Dataquest and you're signed up, every week we do a webinar on how to build a portfolio project. We also have lots of projects in our courses that you can add to your portfolio and use to really demonstrate your skills. Great question.
And I would just add, if you're working at a company right now where you can shadow someone that's working on Power BI or one of the other skills that you're lacking, if you can do that, I think that's super helpful as well.
All right. Yes, that is a great point. Shadowing is amazing if you can do it. We had a learner on Dataquest who just asked all the adjacent teams for all of their data problems that they had to just send him data sets, and he used it to get a data engineer job, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
When will the business analyst path be available? So right now, our Power BI courses are available. We are developing and launching our Excel courses at the end of this month, and we'll be launching the business analyst path in full at the beginning of May. But you can dive in and start our Power BI courses today. Does the learning path include mock tests for certification? So what you can do with our collaboration with Microsoft is you can go to Microsoft and actually take practice exams as you're learning. And Nancy, I don't know if you want to talk about those practice exams at all.
Yes, and that's a great thing. If you go to Microsoft Learn, we have exam prep where we are just kicking that off with a lot of our Azure. So I think Power Platform next year will have that on our exam pages for PL300. There's a link to the practice exams. Some of the exam pages have a few of the exam questions on there as like a sample. I'm not sure that Power BI has that one yet, or PL300 has that one yet, but keep looking back. I think it'll have that. All of the stuff on Microsoft Learn is free. So if you want to go and look at the learning path for our certification, it's on there, it's free. And you can also do a search if there's something, in particular that you're looking at to train on or, learn some skills for. You can go and do a search, and you can find all of the different learning paths and modules that you can take that would help you.
Awesome. I have learned SQL Python tools with Jupyter. Would you recommend learning Power BI as well? I think it depends what type of job you're going for. So if you're going for a business analyst or data analyst job, I absolutely would recommend learning Power BI. If you're going for more of a data scientist job, I don't think it's necessary. Like if you're going for a data scientist job, I would recommend diving deeper into Python instead. But in most cases, your first job in data is not going to be a data scientist job. So if you're working at a company where you think you want to work at a company where you're likely to join as business analyst or a data analyst, and that's most kind of mid-size and larger companies, I think Power BI is a great skill to learn. Okay, for a project manager delivering projects around cloud migrations, data pipelines, ETL, which pathway would you recommend taking, with a primary focus on gaining literacy around data and cloud? So we are actually planning to launch an Azure fundamentals path very, very soon. I would recommend taking that. That's going to come in June or July. In the meantime, a lot of the data pipelines and ETL we touch in our data engineer path. It is more technically advanced. Like there's a lot of advanced programming in there. So whether or not you want to be in a program where you're doing a lot of coding is up to you. But the data engineer path does teach those skills. Are there any requirements of skills needed before starting Power BI fundamentals? So we really designed it, and Microsoft really designed it to start from zero. Like there's not a lot of prep work. I would say the main things you do need to know are downloading software, running it, being able to generally Google and navigate the internet. But if you're in this webinar, you already have those skills. So I think you should be okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think our fundamentals is for anyone. I think students, business users, someone that has not a lot of technical prowess, it's absolutely a great place for you and the right place for you to start.
So how can I view the course material? So you can go to dataquest.io and you can actually browse our Power BI courses. You can also sign up and start the courses and see what courses are available, what lessons are available, and even try some of the lessons before actually doing anything. So I would recommend doing that. You plan to do Power BI next, then business analysis, or would Power BI be included in the BA path? Yes, when we launch the business analyst path in the beginning of May, we are going to include Power BI content in there. So it's going to start with Excel, then move into SQL, then Power BI, then some Python in order to kind of do a little bit more data cleaning and advanced data analysis. Any advice on finding data sets online to use and gain experience with Power BI? So if you go to the Dataquest YouTube channel, we recently did 2 Power BI walkthroughs, one using a FIFA dataset, so data from the most popular football video game in the world, and one using an Olympics dataset. And those are both really fantastic datasets to work with. And even if you don't watch the YouTube video, you can still download the dataset. There's a link there. When we create our dynamic visualizations in Power BI, can these be shared broadly for free, or do end users have to have a license of some sort? So you do have to use the Power BI web service generally to publish your reports. And you can do that in an organization without having an account. If you want to do it individually, you do have to have a Power BI account, a web account. There is a free trial though. And I think there are discounts for students. I don't know if you know, Nancy.
There are. I was going to say we do have a free trial. I can't remember how long it lasts. I think it's maybe like 90 days. But yes, there are discounts for students and smaller business companies. We go from enterprise down to like small and medium-sized companies. So if you're a smaller company or an individual, they have different pricing for you.
Awesome. So yeah, you do need to have an account with the Power BI service, but as Nancy mentioned, there are options there. How long does it take to be certified? So as far as going through the Dataquest path and learning the skills, if you're studying about 10 hours a week, it should take you 3 months, although it is flexible. If you want to study for less, you can. If you want to study for more, you can. And then Nancy, I don't know if you have kind of how long it takes for the actual exam and so on.
Well, it's like a 2-hour exam, or you have 2 hours. I should say that you have 2 hours to take the exam. I think if you know your stuff, it won't take you that long. But most people take about 90 minutes to take the exam.
Awesome. All right. Is there a course specifically for learning more advanced DAX functions in Power BI? And are there courses on the M language as well? Yeah, I've used the Microsoft documentation as a reference for these functions, and it's pretty good. I haven't seen a really advanced Power BI course though. So
we are getting ready to, if you go to our Microsoft blog and you follow us, we do a lot of announcements on new certifications and new exams coming out. And I believe the Azure team just announced a Azure data engineering. So I think it's the next step up from our data analyst. And I think they're working on that. I believe it's April, May, maybe timeframe where it goes into beta. So I don't know if you are all familiar with our beta process, but when we launch a new exam, we put it in a beta period, which means we give a discount for the first like 500 people that want to take our course. It's 80% off. And what we do is we have you guys go in, take the exams, and then you don't get your scores right away. We do an analysis of it. So we want to make sure that our exams are, top notch, and that like everyone's not, missing question number 15. And so we do this analysis on that, which is why they're discounted. And then once we're finished in the beta period, then everyone gets their scores at once. And so this is a great opportunity. If you're worried about money, it's a great chance for you to go and take an exam at a discounted price.
That's great. Can we have recorded video for this? Yes, we will be sending the video out. Anishta hopefully shared details in chat about when. I think it should be early next week. Does the Dataquest learning path improve my dashboard and report design skills? Yes, there is a course on data visualization in Power BI, and that talks about how to build your report, how to make it easy to share, and so on. If certified Scrum Master certification is valuable, if you're looking for a data job, I would say that is not a particularly valuable certification. If you're looking for a different kind of job, it could be, but I'm not as familiar with that. I don't know if you are, Nancy.
I'm not familiar with that. No, I don't think it's on the skills set. So
do we need access to Microsoft Office to do this course? You do not. So Power BI is a separate download if you want to use it on your own machine. If you take the Dataquest courses, we also make it so you don't have to install anything and you can use Power BI right in the browser. Okay, well, this was fantastic. I'm sorry we did not get through all of the questions here. There's so many. Thank you for asking all of them. This was fantastic. I will say thank you so much for joining and going through this with us. Hopefully, we'll be able to have another webinar soon to answer the rest of the questions. But you can go to our website. The link is here, dataquest.io, and you can actually sign up and start our Power BI course for free. Keep an eye out for scholarship announcements and future opportunities that we have with Microsoft. And thanks for joining. Nancy, anything you want to add?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Microsoft Learn is our website. So www.microsoft.com /learn, and you can go there and look at all of the different certification and exam pages and get all the information that you need.
Okay. Well, have an amazing day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.